What's up, guys? We are back for another Masters of the Universe Classics review today, taking a look at the long-awaited Horde Mummy, or Wrap Trap. He comes in the standard Motu Classics brown mailer, the logo, the name, and then on the back of these, just like all the others, we have got the 10th anniversary logo there. Inside this box, of course, we do have Wrap Trap on that standard Masters of the Universe backer card in the window. We've got the 10th anniversary logo, and then on the back we have got some fantastic artwork, a great cross-sell, and then of course a brand new bio. So let's take a look. Alright guys, here is our Wrap Trap figure out of the package, and this figure is pretty much blowing me away in a number of ways. Not the least of which is the fact that we are finally getting this figure. And while he is called Wrap Trap now, originally, this is basically the culmination of the original concept figure for the Horde Mummy. So technically he was at one point not going to be a specific character, but more of like an army builder type guy. And then he never got made, and he was eventually rolled into classics as Wrap Trap. And I think Super7 and the Horsemen have done a pretty stellar job on this guy. We definitely have to talk about articulation on this fellow, because he has something interesting that I so far cannot find on any other Motu Classics figure, which really threw me off when I started posing this guy around. So of course we're going to work our way from the top down, starting with the head. Rotate this guy all the way around, nothing's going to get in the way, it's fine. No hindrances there. He does have a little up and down, but it's not a great deal. It's just enough to say he has it, really. The arms can go all the way out, and you can rotate them all the way around. But this is where things get a little different, and I'm having a really hard time finding other figures like him that actually have this. So he doesn't have a bicep swivel. He has an elbow swivel. He actually rotates at the elbow itself, so there's no pins in his arm. And then he has a single hinge. It gives you about 90 degrees of movement. What's interesting is that the only figure so far that I can just immediately say I know has this is Filmation Sorceress. She has no bicep swivel. She has an elbow swivel. Every figure that I've picked up off my shelf, unless I just happen to have missed one, which is always possible, they have pins through the elbow and they have bicep swivel instead. So it's kind of odd. I guess they did this so they don't break up the sculpt maybe, but he's the only figure in the Classics line in this wave that's like this, so it's not a thing that they did going forward. It's just kind of an oddity. I can't find one. If someone knows of the figure or figures that are like this, that are older, let me know. What have I missed? Otherwise, I think that's an okay change. I always like bicep swivels personally, but I like the fact that I don't have pins through the arms, so it's kind of a trade-off there. We've got hinges and we've got rotation at the wrist. He goes back just slightly and then he crunches forward about that much, which is okay. Waist twist, legs go all the way out, thigh cut, you can swivel in that joint, kick forward. The loincloth is a little pliable, so he can move forward a bit better. Kick back. You have got single jointed knee. He does not have anything at the boot or shin because he doesn't have boots. We've got a rocker and we've got hinge down at the ankle. So he has, the standard boilerplate Motu Classics articulation, except for what's going on with the elbow, which, I'm not sure what the reasoning is. I'm not against it. It is a little different in terms of articulation. It really threw me off when I first started posing him around because I kept moving him in odd ways and not figuring out why until I realized where the joint was. So he's pretty standard except for that. Beyond the articulation, where this guy really does it for me is in the look, the paint, the sculpt. I am 100% on board with everything they have going on with this particular figure. I think he looks absolutely stunning, to say the least. I'm really, really happy with that he turned out so well, because this is such a weird, fun character, and the Horde Mummy is something that I have wanted for a very long time, and I'm not really sure why. Just the concept of it sounded great, and I think they have absolutely nailed it with this one. We've got what I would imagine is 100% new sculpt here. I don't know of any other figure that's like this in the line, and he is covered in sculpted detail from head to toe. There is not a flat surface on this figure. Everything has texture. Everything has wraps crisscrossing all over his body, except for where he's exposed. And even that has sculpted musculature, so you can kind of feel the sinewy nature of the muscles underneath the wraps, which is just fantastic. That is a stellar idea. I'm glad it's not really smooth. It's really rough instead, which is great. You've got this kind of zombified face underneath the wraps with those beady red eyes. He is covered in Horde emblems, so you've got the big one on his chest, which is weathered. We've got one on his arm. We've got one on his leg. So there is no There's no questioning his allegiance when it comes to which team he's on. And then, you know, the paint department on this guy is just through the roof. So there's varying levels of green and yellow in the musculature and on the face. The face in particular, the face has a lot more yellow than some of the other areas. We've got black on this harness, which is not removable. It's just part of the sculpt, by the way. And on the belt, we've got this green buckle. I chipped that myself, so that's my mistake. Do not blame Super7 on that one. It's minor at best. I'm not too concerned about it. And then even the wraps are all completely covered in a wash. So they're kind of an off-white color to begin with, and then a different off-white color is brushed on top. So there is, you know, a little bit of complexity to the color. It's not just a straight white or a straight kind of cream color. And then we've got all these little bits of bandages that are fraying off of him that are attached. So we've got a couple on the arm, some on the legs, one on the back of the head. And I just really like everything about this. That's pretty much all there is to it. I'm 100% on board again with this design. Even if he's not an army builder type character anymore, because they made him a singular character, you could easily make this guy into, you know, one of a dozen Horde mummies that you have on your shelf. But I think he just looks fantastic. Very dark, very, you know, evil looking, and everything that I wanted in a Horde mummy figure. He does, of course, come with a few accessories as well, and these are possibly the coolest accessories in this particular wave. You know, I'm sure they are. The more I think about them, they just really stick out to me. So the first one we've got is this kind of scimitar-type blade, which is done up with metallic silver paint and a gold handle, which is a cobra, a king cobra head. That is just amazing. The detail on this thing is fantastic. He can hold it in either hand. It is a pretty tight fit though, so beware when you're actually trying to put it in. But once it's in there, it is not going anywhere. So it's a great weapon. It's very theme appropriate. You know, it's kind of Egyptian-y, and he's a mummy. So I don't know if we've got an Egypt type place on Etheria or on a Horde world. There you go. And then the coolest accessory, I mean, the sword is amazing on its own, but we've got this, what is easily my favorite Horde crossbow in the entire line now, is this Scarab Beetle crossbow. So it's done up in gold with some dark green for the wings and the head of the Scarab Beetle, and then this bright green kind of bauble in the middle. And of course he can hold that in either hand, just like the sword. But this thing is fantastic. Again, doing the whole, you know, Egyptian style of theme, because he's a mummy, and that's what people think about initially. Almost lost him there. So this is just fantastic. I'm very happy with it. The sculpted detail on it is through the roof. The same with the sword. The scales on the snake really come through. Everything about the entire theme regarding the weapons and the character, I think is spot on. I really don't think they could have done any better with these. So I'd say I'm happy when it comes down to this figure, wouldn't you? So he is, yeah, about everything I wanted it to be when it comes to a Horde mummy wrap trap figure. The figure itself is fantastic. He has all the articulation you need, save for the odd change up of bicep for elbow swivel, but I'm happy with it. The paint is through the roof on this guy. The sculpted detail is out of this world, and he comes with two of, if not the best weapons in this entire wave. They're just so well done. Everything about them screams this mummy theme, and I'm really, really happy to finally have this guy in figure form. So that's going to do it for this look at the Super7 Masters of the Universe Classics Wrap Trap / Horde mummy figure. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and until next time.